guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ashley, and in today's video, I'm going to show you the Waldorf Estate of Fear. This is a haunted house in Lehighton, Pennsylvania. It's kind of up around Jim Thorpe, if you're familiar with that area. And this was, no lie, one of the best haunted houses I have ever been to, and I've been to a lot. I was able to record while I was at the haunt, and I had permission from the owner to do that. So I'm going to be inserting some clips here of the Waldorf Estate of Fear and just kind of showing you a little bit of what it's all about. So first of all, this haunted house is the filming location for Hell House LLC, as well as the sequels for that franchise. If you're not familiar with Hell House LLC, it is a found footage film franchise, and it's basically about a group of people who get together to open a haunted house in this abandoned location. They set about doing so, but creepy, weird things start to happen. There's things popping up in the backs of their cameras while they're recording. There's a very creepy clown who is part of that movie, and they actually had an actor dressed as that clown in the haunted house, so that was wild. It's a pretty creepy movie. If you like horror movies and you're not familiar with it, definitely check it out. If you are familiar with it, then if you have the opportunity or you're in the general area, you definitely want to check out the Waldorf Estate of Fear. All right, so let's get into it. I went with my friend Allie. First, we checked out the Waldorf Hotel attraction. There are 4 different attractions as part of the Waldorf Estate of Fear. You have the Waldorf Hotel, Infection, the Slaughterhouse, the Brimville Slaughterhouse, I believe is the name of it, and then Terror in the Corn. So we're starting out with the Waldorf Hotel. The actor that brought us into this attraction in the haunt was absolutely incredible, whoever he is. So committed, so in character, so intense. It was great. It was creepy. It was funny. It was a good time. Now, one of my favorite parts about the Waldorf Hotel was all the crawl spaces and tunnels you had to go through. This one here was supposed to be a toy box, and the room it was in, the actress was portraying a creepy haunted doll. So it was like a little girl's room. Very, very creepy, very cool. Fog machines, just, I loved it. And so she ushered us into this toy box that you had to get down on your hands and knees and crawl into to get to the next room. You weren't in there for a very long time. It was carpeted on the floor, but that kind of stuff I just love. I feel like as a child, I loved a jungle gym and just like Discovery Zone, those ball pit kind of places where you're going through tunnels, up and down, climbing walls, slides, that whole thing. I still love that stuff to this day. So I feel like all the crawl spaces just, I don't know, there's just something about them that I love. I love like a little obstacle almost, or obstacle course type situation. So that was super fun. I will say it's obviously not ADA compliant. You would not be able to go into that haunted house if you had a disability that didn't allow you to crawl or go up and down stairs or be in tight spaces, because there was a lot of that happening. However, some of the other attractions you would be able to maneuver through more easily. We also got to walk through the actual kitchen that was, again, used in filming for Hell House LLC. So you're walking through these areas that if you know the movie well, you will definitely recognize when you're in the hotel attraction. When they were filming, I'm assuming they just used the rooms and props as they were set up for the haunted house, because the way that you see them in the haunt is pretty much how they're set up in the movie. So it's like they came into film and just really filmed in the haunted house as it is. So that is really fun to be able to walk through some of the rooms that are set up the same way they are in the film. So again, if you're a fan of Hell House LLC, you will love that part. Then we headed out of the hotel attraction, which was incredible, and we headed over to the slaughterhouse. Now this was one of my favorites, okay? The slaughterhouse, first of all, just the thought of it is disgusting alone. Reminds me of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Bad, just eerie, bad vibes. We go in, you have a guy in overalls who is giving you the introduction, that kind of thing, like backwoods kind of stuff. Then it got super interactive as soon as we entered the haunted house. There was a woman who popped up from behind a door. She's locked in there. She's screaming and wailing, and she's telling us to get the key, get the key. Now, before we had entered the attraction, the man in the overalls told us you're not allowed to touch anyone, and do not touch anything unless you're asked to. So of course we're like, wait, are we actually supposed to get the key? Are we really supposed to touch something in here? So yes, you were supposed to. It's interactive and they make you a part of the scene and a part of the set. So we had to grab a key that was hanging on a key hook and physically unlock the door that this actress was in. She comes out and she's screaming and wailing again. It's like very intense, and you really, if you allow yourself to get into it, you really feel like you're part of whatever's happening, which can be very creepy. So then she shines a black light on the wall and it says 1031 in glow in the dark or black light, paint or writing. 1031, obviously the date of Halloween. So then she's pointing to another door that has a keypad on it, and she's insinuating that we have to enter this code into the door in order to move into the next room. So my friend Allie was trying to punch the code in. We were getting the code wrong. She was maybe putting in the wrong number or not pressing pound after. We finally got it. The door opened, and then we're in the actual slaughterhouse, which had this moving mechanical, I'll show you here in a clip. I don't know what they call these things. I am not well versed in slaughterhouses, thank goodness. But, there were like carcasses and torsos hanging from it, just going around the room above you. It was really, really well done. Also surprisingly large for a space that I didn't think was that big. It was kind of like you kept thinking it was over and it just continued into more pathways and hallways and rooms. The owner's name is Angie. She has owned this haunted house for quite a while. The owner was nice enough to give me and my friend Allie passes for the night in exchange for posting some content. So I will give that disclaimer here, but that does not in any way influence what I have to say about the haunted house. I would not say that it was good if it wasn't. I did have permission to be filming inside the haunts. I tried to keep it minimal, which is why I don't have so much footage of the hotel area or some other of the attractions. I tried to keep it minimal and still obviously enjoy the experience and not ruin anyone else's by having my phone out constantly. I typically would not be filming inside of a haunted house. All right, so moving on. Finishing up Slaughterhouse, it was incredible. I loved it so much. I loved the interactive portion of it. The actors and actresses were just amazing in there. And that was the one attraction that I really, really felt like I was part of what was happening. And if I let myself go a little bit further, I could have gotten really scared by everything that was going on. That's how real it all felt. After the Slaughterhouse, we decided to go to Terror in the Corn. Terror in the Corn. Okay. This is unlike anything I've ever seen at a haunted house, and I'm not going to say too much because I want people to experience it on their own if they're able to, but basically there were different scenes set up to simulate horror movies, and characters dressed to align with whatever horror movie it was. That's what I'll say. And it basically was like you were watching the horror movie happen in front of you. It was a scene from the film and you were watching it being acted out. And then, of course, you were also, again, interactively kind of part of the scene as the actors and actresses talked to you, gestured to you, asked you certain questions, or directed you where to go. Now, my absolute favorite part of Terror in the Corn was a Children of the Corn simulation. First of all, I don't think ever seen a Children of the Corn reference in a haunted house. Of course, you see your Michael Myers, your Jason, maybe even your Leatherface with a chainsaw. I've seen all those characters in haunted houses before. I've also seen Chucky, but I have never seen anything having to do with Children of the Corn. They had an entire setup of basically church pews in the freaking cornfield, okay? Full setup for you to sit in as if you were in Gatlin yourself. Malachi comes out screaming at you to sit down. There's a lot of yelling going on. The blue man is hanging on a cross in front of you. There's candlelight all around. It was so good. Oh my God, I was thriving. So we sat on the benches, a little outdoor church setup. Blue man's hanging there. Then out comes someone who is similar to Isaac. He's reading scripture, just yelling at the top of his lungs. There's just a lot of yelling going on. And you were really an outlander. So at first I thought we were the Children of the Corn and maybe someone was about to be sacrificed. But no, we were the outlanders, and the actors made that very clear. So then they started screaming at us to get up and get out. So then we had to move on to the next section. But that was by far my favorite part of Terror in the Corn. It was so good. And again, that interactive part where you are getting to sit in the pew, you're part of the scene that's happening. It was so much fun. All right, so moving on from Terror in the Corn, which was one of my favorites next to Slaughterhouse, we then went to the Booze Barn, which is their drink station. So they had snacks and food available and then a drink station. They had blood bags. The blood bags were fruit punch, I believe. And then you had the option of purchasing either a vodka or a whiskey shot to inject into your blood bag. Me and Allie each got one color of the fruit punch. She got red, I got green, and then we both got vodka shots to inject. You do have to be careful because when you inject the vodka, do not drink it immediately. We made that mistake. You gotta shake it up first, otherwise you're just sipping straight vodka from the top of the straw. I turned around and I spit it straight in the garbage. Then I shook my drink up and it was much more enjoyable. We went and sat by the fire. We drank our drinks. We got some French fries and some fried Oreos. Then we were also watching Hell House LLC because they were playing it on a big screen TV out by the fire pit. Once we were finished with our food and our snacks, we headed to the last attraction, which was Infection. Now, this one was like a zombie apocalypse type of situation, and I feel like today almost every haunted house has one of those. So this one I will say was my least favorite just because I've seen it enough times already. Slaughterhouse, incredible, never seen it done the way they did it. The interactive part, never seen it done the way they did it as well. Terror in the Corn, never seen that anywhere else. I feel like all of that stuff was pretty unique to the Waldorf Estate of Fear. Infection was my least favorite, like I said, just because it's been done before. However, it was the most interactive one that I have seen. And again, you were really part of the set and the storyline that was taking place. So basically the storyline was you needed to get the antidote to cure, I think, some of the zombies and to escape yourself unharmed. So we go through it. Someone was given a necklace. Allie was given a necklace by one of the actresses that she was supposed to hold on to until the end, which I'm surprised she did because I feel like I would have lost it on the ground in the woods. You encounter several different zombies as well as people who are not infected and who are looking for their family members who might already be infected, that kind of thing. They're asking you questions. They're telling you to pick up different props that you're going to need for the next station. We were supposed to grab a floppy disk from a drawer in a file cabinet, and we weren't sure if we were actually supposed to grab it, so we left it there. Turns out we were supposed to grab a floppy disk. We were supposed to take that with us, so we didn't do that. There was one really cool part where an actress was leading us through a scene of tents set up, and this was where the uninfected people were sleeping. It was like their base camp. And she's walking in front of us and she goes, "You guys are safe here. Nothing's gonna harm you. Don't worry." Boom, out pops a zombie and just tackles her to the ground. That made me cackle. She was the one who gave us the actual antidote. It was like in a little, it almost looks like a miniature glow stick. So she handed that to us and told us not to give it to anyone and not to give it to any zombies or we would be in danger. Then, of course, we get to the end of Infection and there's a locked gate with a keypad on it and a zombie on the other side, and she is telling us to give her the antidote. And we're like, no, we were told not to give anyone the antidote. Like, we're over here following directions, but that was the way out. Like, we had to enter the key into the keypad to exit. So we finally gave in and just gave her the antidote. She also had asked for the floppy disk and the other thing that we took. So we gave her what we had, including the antidote. I was a little concerned at this point, but she gave us the key. It worked in the keypad. We opened the gate and we got out. And that was really the end of Infection. So you did actually end up needing to give the antidote to the zombie, even though you were told not to. So that one was a lot of fun as well. It was still my least favorite, but I do think the, again, interactive part was super fun. That was pretty much our experience. We almost went to Halls of Horror afterwards because they're very close to each other. They're about a 10-minute drive from each other. And this was like a 30 to 40-minute drive from where we live. So we kind of wanted to check that one out since we were already in the area, but it was late, so we decided to just go home and save that for another time. I have never been to Halls of Horror, but they do have a blood experience, so I would love to check that out this year or next year if I don't get a chance to this year. If you're not familiar with the blood experience, it is where they give you a white t-shirt, you're supposed to wear clothes you really don't care about, and you get blood thrown on you throughout the haunted house. I've never done one of those before. I've done blackout haunts and haunts where they're allowed to touch you, but I've never done a blood experience, so that is next on my list. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing some of these clips from the Waldorf Estate of Fear. I hope you are able to check it out if you live anywhere nearby or you happen to be visiting one October. If you're interested, I did a quick little review of 4 haunted houses that I've recently been to over on my TikTok. Thank you guys so much for watching. Definitely like and subscribe if you're interested in this kind of content, and I will see you guys in the next video.